welcome back to my channel. My name is Rin. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Today, let's do another cozy watercolor sketch together. I re-sketched Rumi. If you watched my sketchbook tour, I talked about wanting to draw her again along with Mira and Zoe, but today we're just going to paint this sketch of Rumi. I think painting this piece, I came to some conclusions about how I'm doing art in general and how I think I've gotten stuck in a little bit of a rut and I want to improve. So I guess kind of what my thought process was while I was painting this. Well, when I started drawing it, I really wanted to try and have a really dynamic pose and just dynamic lines in general. And I don't really feel like I achieved this. I definitely like this sketch of Rumi better than I do my first sketch, but I still didn't feel like it was very dynamic. I also feel like all of my people have started to look very similar, which to some extent I understand that is because I'm drawing it in my own personal style, and so they all look very cohesive. But I also feel like that's because I have gotten into become very comfortable with how I draw people, and I haven't really been pushing myself too much. So that's definitely something I want to work on. I also recognize this pose isn't anywhere near as dynamic as I wanted it to be, and I'm not 100% sure how to improve either one of those things. I know for one, I need to use references more often. And I think just push myself to draw things that I still feel uncomfortable drawing, like hands, for instance. I always draw hands like I have done in this sketch, just kind of as a overall shape without definition. And I definitely have practiced drawing hands. I used to be able to draw hands pretty well, and I was really comfortable drawing hands, and then I went for a really long time and I didn't draw them. So I need to get back to practicing that. I also want to start learning how to draw eyes different ways, because this is how I always draw eyes as I'm painting hers right here. And I don't dislike them. I just think that if I learned to add some more detail, I could make even better drawings. Real quick here too, I wanted to paint her eyelashes a deep blue. I know it looks a little crazy right now. I go back over it right here with an even deeper blue, and then it blends in really well by the time we get to the end of the painting. Here, as you can see, backed out of the page when you're not up so close, it already blends in pretty nicely. And I add some more of that blue in on her jacket and her shorts, so it ended up blending in really nice, and I was really glad I did that. But anyway, so I guess I'm just saying that out loud as an encouragement to you as well. If you feel like you've gotten into a little bit of a rut with your art, or feel kind of like everything's kind of starting to look the same, don't be afraid to challenge yourself to learn to draw new things and see how you can grow as an artist as well. Because I think it's really easy to get comfortable drawing, especially when if you're somebody else who's also doing YouTube or putting out art content very consistently, and you're always kind of on a tight deadline. It's really easy to just kind of fall into a rhythm of what's easy to draw because of time constraints, or just being tired and not having a ton of energy to put into your art. But if you're starting to feel kind of where you want to grow and push yourself, maybe make a list of things that you want to work on. I know I just named a bunch of things for me that I would like to work on. Drawing faces different, drawing more dynamic poses, and just getting better at drawing people in general. I don't feel like I am in a rut with my environmental background pieces, because I have already been pushing myself so much with those. So I think that if I just keep going and doing those how I've been doing them for now, I'm going to keep growing, because those are all new things and new techniques I'm learning already. So anyway, that was a little bit of a challenge to myself and anyone else who feels like they are, like I said, in a rut with their artwork. So I guess I don't really have a lot to talk about with the painting process of this. I used a really limited palette. which I'm super happy about because everything on this page looks super cohesive and blends together super nicely. I am really happy with the way the coloring of this page turned out, or this spread turned out. Despite wanting to do better in the actual sketch and line art, I like how all my coloring turned out. I liked that I blended a lot of different colors in areas, and I like to use blue and purple and pink so much that being the predominant color palette of this spread, I just instantly liked it naturally. I had a lot of fun painting her braid too, because it was just really nice to just work with a couple different shades of purple and then pink and just kind of blend all those colors together to get definition. This is another thing I think, like talking about wanting to get better. I do like how her braid looks, but I wish I had like even more dynamic shapes. I think that like hair in general can be such a good place in sketches to use interesting line work. I think you can experiment a lot with hair, and like I always talk about in Kingdom Hearts how they make like the character's hair really big, and it's just so eye-catching and interesting to look at. So I want to get better at doing that as well. And while I was painting this, I was really undecided how I wanted to do the background, but I ended up deciding just to do these big squares of color just to help her pop out more from the back. Here I just wanted to paint these blue lines that kind of look like the Hanmoon, and then we'll go over them again here in just a minute with an even darker blue just to add a little bit of definition and make them look a little more visually interesting. And then going over them with the glitter just to add more pops of color to the page. And then I did highlights with my Posca pen. This is something I actually am still really happy with how I do are my highlights. I feel like I could definitely like learn to do different kinds of highlights, but I do enjoy doing my highlights in this way with my Posca pen and just adding some more eye-catching spots to the sketch. It's kind of how I think of highlights. They're just something to help draw your eye somewhere. And then I lined it. I wanted to line this piece with ink partly because of feeling like there were things I could have pushed myself more in to make this piece better. So I didn't want to just kind of sit back and not push myself at all. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to push myself to do line art because I'm still working on getting clean lines. And this turned out really good. I mean, obviously these lines aren't perfect, but I'm really happy with how clean they do look compared to how my older art was so messy, which I don't mind, like, because I love that really sketchy style, but I'm really happy that I can make clean lines and feel a lot more comfortable making clean lines. I'm not like holding my breath while I'm lining. So I lined with like that navy blue, and then in some spots I did some pink and some purple as well, just to create some visual contrast and even more color to this page. And then I also did just a tiny bit of purple colored pencil just over some shading in some spots, and then like I showed, or like I was just doing with her hair, just adding a little bit more definition with the purple colored pencil. And then I also wanted to add some definition to the squares behind her just to help her pop out even more. And this is how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know like who is your favorite if you know these characters down in the comments. Do you like Rumi, do you like Mira, or do you like Zoe the best? Or if you like all three the best. Zoe is personally my favorite. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Remember to be kind and stay cozy. Bye!